Hey there, Rivermen fans. I'm Jason Ruff. Welcome to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast. It's the podcast where we sit down with Rivermen and Rivermen legends, past and present, get an update on what they've been doing this summer now that the ship is in dry dock. This week's guest is someone who has, up until most recently, been a staple of the back end for the Peoria Rivermen. He holds the SPHL career record in overall shutouts. He is most recently retired. Big time Eric Levine. Eric, looking good. You got the tea, you got the wine rack in behind you. Congratulations, of course, now on your most recent retirement. Up back in Palatine with the fiance, as I understand, and living your best life this summer.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for those pension checks to start coming in. I've been told that they're in the mail. But yeah, no, man, it's a weird feeling to tell people that I used to play hockey. You know, it's always, what do you do? That's why I play hockey, and now it's like I used to play hockey. So I'm slowly getting used to that. But it's it's a different phase of life. It's things are happening, and yeah, we're moving up here, settling in, kind of making this place more into our home. We have like repainted, redecorated, gotten the whole new landscape, made it a little bit more, couple friendly. It was much more of a bachelor pad house. So we needed to do some updating. So Anne's been awesome at decorating, getting this place looking really nice, and it's super comfortable. So yeah, we're right in the middle of the summer, but just enjoying life and taking it, kind of day by day.
And you're going into this new phase. You're still a hard man to track down. What have been some of the stuff that you've been up to? You're still working with your camps, I believe. Tell us a bit about that. How has that been going, and what's this new stage of life been like for you? What is what has been a day in the life of Eric Levine so far?
Yeah, you think that you retire and you're gonna, never see the ice rink again. I think I've been more hours in the rink this last month than I have all season. I mean, we're right in the middle of our goalie camps. June, July is our busy season, which is great. It's something I've done for a lot of years, and every year it's really rewarding to see kids that have cycled through and that become older, and you see them kind of grow up before your eyes. So I get to see a lot of familiar faces. This is kind of the time of year where I work with some goalies during the year and you talk to some, but for the most part, everyone, is so busy with school, their own season. So you kind of catch up, during the summertime. And so we're right in the middle of camp season. So it's been really cool to catch up with some goalies, putting a lot of time in at the rink, doing a ton of clinics, ton of camps. It's like I never left hockey. I mean, I think I took maybe 5 weeks off after the season, kind of put the skates away, just, didn't really concern myself with hockey. I wanted to take a break, and then you get back into it. And this last month, it feels like I never left. I'm back in the hockey mode. A little part of me is like itching to get back out there, because I'm showing all these goalies how to move, and you're talking goaltending, and you're like, all right, I can still do it. But as I said, I sold my gear. I've already been asked multiple times to play men's leagues, to play different games, and I was like, sorry, man, this is just not how it is anymore. So I really enjoy coaching. It keeps me involved. It keeps me into the game. I love the structure, and I just love working with kids. I love seeing kids grow up. I love seeing the development, and I like seeing when they have a goal in mind and they want to get better. Right? I like being able to offer advice and just direct, technique that helps them. Right? It's so much of a game. You have to know the language. You have to speak the same language. You have to understand kind of what they're going through. And it just has been such a great reward for me to be out there to help these kids, because I mean, you're often forgotten, you're often left by yourself, during the year. So some of these kids have had tough seasons, and maybe things haven't gone great. So it's a nice chance to bring everyone in for the week and keep them just more motivated to want to be a goalie. So it's been a lot of that, and yeah, a little bit of fiance time, a little bit of yoga time, and still time for some tea and some juice. That's been the diet lately.
What's the tea flavor? I mean, we all know you're a big tea guy. What's the tea flavor today?
Yeah, my favorite one. This is the stash, the lemon ginger
Ooh,
cup.
that's a good one.
Little a little engagement present from yours
Yes,
truly, Jason
yeah,
Ruff, the dog cup.
yes. I
Yeah.
very, very strategic. And you mentioned that you sold your gear, so I'm putting you on the spot just to put you on record. No chance that you might be able to pull a Mike Gertler or a Ben Escroba next year and come back for a weekend if necessary. So that's all. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, huh?
I have more forward gear than I do goalie gear. So if they want me to come in as a D man, I would love to. But I think the I think the goalie dream is gone. I think I'm going to leave that. I might have a career in broadcasting. I'd be happy to come back, maybe call the
Absolutely.
game, but to play the game, like I said, I left it all on the ice in that last one, and I'm very happy with the decision.
Put a pin in the broadcast because I want to ask you about that game and that weekend because there's so many storylines in that whole week that I want to get into that I've been waiting to get into with you. But put a pin in that. I want to circle back to this career and leaving it all on the ice. I remember last year when we talked, you and me, about a ton of the achievements that you had, really moving up the record books in terms of Rivermen goaltenders. And you said, yeah, that's great, but that's more stuff to look at when the career is over and focus on next year, blah, blah, blah. Now that the career is over and that you've had a chance, I'm sure, to look back over the breadth of your career, what are some of the things that stand out to you? Is it the individual records? Is it the team championships? Or is it kind of those little memories, that things that happen either on the ice or in the locker room that are kind of away from the public eye that not a lot of people know about or see?
Yeah, I think it is. It's a combination of all of those things. I would say, to put it up, if I had to rank, kind of where I would find myself often calling back onto memories, like it truly is the people. Like it's looking back, and I was even going through just like the rosters of my first year, right? Because you have so many guys that come in and out. Sometimes there's 50 guys. And so to look back at, like, you get to the roster page and it just shows everyone that was on that team. It was cool to reflect back and to think how many different players I got the opportunity to play with, and to see like some of the people that maybe started their career in Peoria and then went on to play in the coast, overseas, maybe came back. Just to see where guys landed was really cool to see, like, all right, I played for so long, but there are a number of guys that I saw start their career, and then how long did they play, and maybe they ended up playing for an SP team at the end of their career. And that's like, I remember them more as an opponent, but I forgot that I got to start with them in Peoria, so you get to see these little intricacies of like where guys' careers cross paths with mine at the time. That was first and foremost. Second, it would definitely be like going back and I was looking at my actual games played. Like, you just forget, everything becomes a blur. So to like see my games in order, like, all right, I played this game, we won 5-1. And then the next night I got hammered. And then the next night I had a shutout. And to kind of go through like the list of the actual games, because I had over 160 or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So you just like, you inevitably lose sight of the details of a lot of them. And you remember the important ones, and especially the last couple of years, those more stick out to me. But it was the earlier years, and to get to see some of the teams that we played, playing Mississippi's, playing Bloomington's, playing these teams that aren't even in the league. It was like, oh, I forgot that that was even a chapter of my career, because it
Mhm.
seemed like so long ago. So it was neat to reminisce on the games earlier, and then just to recall all the people that I played with. Like, that's the thing that I miss most, and I appreciated my whole career, was just to get to play with so many great teammates. And it was really cool to see the collection of that as a whole after, because I had never really done that during my career. I never sat down to actually look back. So it was kind of neat for a couple weeks to do that.
Was it also neat considering the fact that you are also in the SPHL record book, most career shutouts out of any goaltender in this league? And I believe you have it by, I think, 4 or 5. It's going to take quite a bit for someone to match that. And the fact that you got it in Quad City too. Like, you're on record, and we've talked a lot about how you love playing in that barn, and they love it when you play in that barn. The Quad City fans, trust me, I hear them.
I wish I could play 20 games there a year. I mean, that for whatever reason, that rink just had it. Yeah, no, those things are cool. Like, again, it's not that someone asks me, if I were like to say, hey, tell me about your career. That wouldn't be like the first thing that I would say, because it would always be, I was lucky enough to win 2 championships, one on the East Coast and one with Peoria.
Mhm.
And it's like, you're part of the team as a collective. And those are things that have more of an impact. And those are things that I'll remember.
Mhm.
But then you'll have people say, all right, like how were you? How did you play? Like, what was your career like? What kind of goalie were you? And when you start to get into more of your own personal things, you start to remember, like, yeah, you know what? I was able to put up some good performances, because I was even talking to a kid the other day. He was saying he had issues when their team would be out playing a team and he may only have 15 shots. He's like,
Mhm.
I'm having trouble staying focused for 60 minutes. Like, I just can't get myself in that zone when the puck's not in my end all the time. And I was just like, there are times where you're going to only have to make 15 saves, but to be focused the entire length of that puck in your zone. It might not be as much as you want, but you have to still find a way to turn it on when you need to. And I was looking back, it's like there was plenty of times where, yeah, I had a shutout, but it wasn't like I had to make 45 saves and we won 1-0. It was like, it was a 5-0 game. It wasn't like I was the difference maker, but for those 20, 25 shots, like I had to be ready. And so it was just a good reminder that like there are so many different types of games as a goalie, and you really get the collective experience when you play as long as I have of seeing every single type of game. So it was cool to look back and know that I had a lot of success in different situations. I had games where I played really well when I got outshot and you have to make 40 saves. And then there's games where you only have to make 15, but they're the ones that you didn't lose focus at all. So yeah, it was neat to see the differences, but it's a cool thing to say that you do have, because it just means that you put together a lot of really good games. And like I said, it means you're on good teams. Like I think more times than not, the shutouts were 4 or 5-0. They weren't me having to steal a game, and like I was the reason why we won. So I was pretty fortunate in that aspect.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I apologize for doing this.
Let's do it.
Us, your most memorable game that you played in. So it would not be the one you won where the Rivermen won the championship in Roanoke. Most memorable game that you played in your career.
Just in my pro career?
Just in the pro career.
Wow, that's a really, really tough answer. The most memorable. I would say, and this is for a very specific reason, but I had got an opportunity to play with the Colorado Eagles one of these years when I was bouncing around the SP, and I went up and I hadn't really had much traction playing in that league. And I remember I get to this team and we go to play a game against Rapid City, the Rapid City Rush. And it was the first time I had ever experienced, like, you know how in Quad City, they like write on the ice and they do all the stuff. Well, this game had a pink out. So the whole ice was written in names of, I think it might've been like a cancer awareness game, but they were all in pink. And then the whole crowd wore pink shirts or jerseys. And I remember being out there and I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't even know how to handle this. Like, I can't see anything. It's like such a weird environment. And they shoot the puck down like 2 seconds off the face off, basically from the back of the blue line, and they score. I didn't even see the puck. Like, it was so hidden by all the pink, and I lost track of it. They scored from the far blue line. And I was like, all right, well, I'm probably going to get released after this game, and this might be my career's over. Because at this point, I hadn't really established myself too much in Peoria. I was up and down. I had just gotten released from Pensacola. I wasn't really established anywhere. I was like, all right, I need to make this situation work. And first game, first face off, guy wins it back, shoots it in, scores from the far blue line. And I was like, all right, I need to like wake up here. And I just remember like it was an exercise in learning to say, I have to focus myself immediately on what's happening. And I have to have this like hypersensitive awareness that the ice is so difficult to see. And like, this is such a faster game that I'm used to. And I just remember like zoning in, and I'm pretty sure that I went the rest of the game without giving up a goal. We ended up winning, and it like catalysted me to have the 2 best months I've ever had in the ECHL. It then led to me getting like an AHL contract. I went to all these teams. I ended up back in Peoria. It was sort of the kickstart of my career at a time where I might've been at my lowest. And I just remember like that mental switch that I made from getting scored on the far blue line to saying, all right, I need to like wake up here. And I just remember how hard I was intensely focusing because of all this pink that was on the ice and in the stands. And I just played lights out. And I was like, all right, that was a really cool game because it had meant a lot at the time. And I was just like, wow, this is so different. I had never played like a game like that in college or juniors. And I was like, this is minor league pro hockey in a nutshell. It was wild. Pretty much the weirdest situation I had been in, but it was a memorable game for that reason.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. And that was in Rapid City, correct?
In Rapid City, we came in, played Colorado, and it was just wild. But that said, kick-started for the next 2 months. Like, I went on a tear, played well, Like that was the turning point of that game and of that season for me, and pretty much helped me on for the next 6 years of my career. Like it really was something where if I had not made that situation work, I don't know if I would have still been playing.